I wish spirits no longer deconfirmed Smash Ultimate characters from DLC. Nothing's changed. Correct. You know what? I think the Smash community, including me, I think we kind of overhyped the idea of the spirits deconfirmed character trend being broken with Min Min a little bit too much. And don't get me into this crap about, oh, Power Man, you're just strawmanning the argument. Nobody actually thought that spirits deconfirmed characters because everybody knows that Fighters Pass 1 was decided on at the same time as the base game, and they designed the spirits around that, and so that's why none of the spirit characters have been DLC. There were people who legitimately thought that because you got a spirit, that it was playable representation in some way. And so, because they were these, high volume, low effort things to try to represent characters, that they generally wouldn't want to touch these things again because they thought they represented them well enough. I kind of fault myself a little bit for hyping this up in some of my own videos, which I apologize for now that I've thought about it and seen kind of the community now. But how much has changed in the community since this revelation has happened? And I'm filming this about 2 days after the Min Min presentation happened, so I'm sure things are subject to change, but I doubt it's going to change that much by the time I put this video out. Now, I could just sit here and go through all of the most wanted characters in the fan base and talk about how it affects them, but that would be very repetitive as I just repeat myself and be like, oh yeah, this character is more likely, because this has affected so many characters and in such a little way that's kind of ultimately meaningless. So for characters who have no representation in Smash currently, your Doomslayers, your Crash Bandicoots, your Ryu Hayabusas, they really aren't affected at all by this. And in fact, I'd argue that the discourse has basically not changed for these kinds of characters. Now, I'm going to split up the actual characters that are spirits currently in the game into two separate groups. You have the ones that are highly requested and spirits, and the characters who aren't as requested and spirits. I know it's like an arbitrary distinction to make, but trust me, it'll make sense. Now, for the characters that are already spirits and highly requested, I significantly doubt that either the discourse around these characters is going to change significantly, or character popularity among the Smash community is going to change significantly either. Your mega popular requests like Geno and Rayman were so heavily requested, irregardless of what the community as a whole thought about this spirit trend in the first place. Okay, yeah, it might knock out the most minor arguments against a lot of these characters, and it theoretically can boost support because people don't think that this is as much of an issue, but it's so minor of a thing that I imagine any sort of popularity gain or argumentative space is going to be filled in by other things, so I doubt that it's really going to change things all that much. For example, as a Geno fan, I've been hearing a lot more since the Min Min presentation ended that Geno is nowhere near popular enough to get a spot in the game. So it's kind of this thing where, yeah, there's one argument that disappears, but an already existing argument kind of fills that space that it was taking up. And let's be honest here. If you were in a pro or anti a certain character camp, did the spirits trend going away really change you from one side to the other all that much? Probably not. But where I do think there has been a big change is the sort of less popular character requests that are also spirits. Because these characters are nowhere near that popular to the rest of the Smash community, they have such insurmountable odds in terms of popularity amongst the discussions that any sort of minor victory that they can get is a lot of ground. Perfect example. Let's use the Chorus Kids, right? People want the Chorus Kids, but it's not big enough to kind of be on the essential list of top Smash requests anytime soon. And no, the Chorus Kids requests are not going to suddenly shoot up and match the popularity level of Dante. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying is that a lot of characters that have kind of been laying low for a long time, you're probably going to see them start to become a little bit more prevalent in the discussion. Another example, I think, of a character who would really get a lot of traction because of small gains like this is Dixie Kong. Now, I've seen people want Dixie Kong in threads and stuff and on Reddit posts, but I don't think anybody thought Dixie Kong was realistically possible just because of K. Rool's addition to the base game and kind of the spirit trend. It kind of put kind of like a max cap on Dixie Kong support. But now that it's been a while since the base game's come out and the spirit trend has disappeared, that we might see Dixie Kong support slowly build and build over the course of the next couple months, that she might end up being, depending on which characters out of the most popular get added over the course of the DLC, she might end up being in the top 15 by the time we get to the end of Fighters Pass 2. Now, you may be thinking to yourself, well, hold on, Power Man, that's nice and all, but wouldn't the demand for certain characters going up mean a decrease in other characters? Doesn't that significantly kind of affect the quote-unquote meta of Smash character discussion in a significant way? But the thing is that Smash character discussion is not a zero-sum game. Characters can gain support without detracting support from others, because people can want multiple characters at the same time and not feel the need to drop one character in order to support another one. So ultimately what changed was all the major characters got almost nothing from this, and some minor characters got kind of the max support cap taken off from their support so they can actually make strides and gains. All for a Fighters Pass that was already decided a year ago, where a change in their popularity and support doesn't affect their chances of being added to the game prior to this. I will admit that if there was a third Fighters Pass, which I highly doubt probably is even gonna happen, that this change in request from the more minor characters, I do think could actually influence which characters would get put into a hypothetical Fighters Pass 3. Some of the less popular spirit characters who haven't really gained any popularity until now, and people like Dante who haven't really spiked in popularity until after this Fighters Pass was chosen, they're kind of in this weird uncanny valley of character support, where they weren't popular enough a year and a half ago to be the obvious fan-demanded request, but they weren't quite underdog enough to be the character request nobody knew what they wanted, like a Terry Bogard. And so character discussion, I think at least for the next 6 months, is only going to really be significantly affected by who actually gets added to the game that's a super popular request. Because if you take out someone like Geno, a character that has so much hype and so much reverence and so many people pushing for him out, by adding him as a playable character, that's going to have a knock-on effect on a lot of characters, because now you have a lot of people that are going to take all that support they had for Geno and move it to their secondary characters. And so that's where you're really going to see sort of the balance of character discussion really change, and you see a lot of those more obscure requests that just now have had kind of their limiters removed, so to speak, gain a ton more support. So yeah, the future for Smash Kid DLC looks bright, but it wasn't as bright as I thought it was. So anyways, guys, that's it, and have a good day.